hi, I'm Natasa, whatever you want to call me. We have a new filming location purely because it's raining and it's very dark and I'm sitting in front of the window, as you can probably tell, in order to get some better lighting because the quality of my videos, man, they're not the best. I know, I'm trying. The weather sort of fits what I'm going to talk about today because it's sort of gloomier, it's darker, sort of fits the atmosphere of fear. I'm gonna talk about my biggest fears today. I'm kidding. I'm gonna talk about just some books that scare me, some books that absolutely terrify me. My foot is falling asleep. I think as readers, we are pretty much aware of the fact that we do have quite a lot of fears when it comes to our reading. Some people are scared of reading stuff out of their comfort zones. Other people are scared of what an author might do to their favorite characters. Most people are probably scared of a certain type of book or a genre, like size. Spoiler alert, most of these books that I'm going to talk about are classics and they are usually a little bigger. I just think it's important to emphasize the fact that reading can be a little scary, a little challenging, because like you invest so much time in, you know, reading what you're reading, and it's easy to, you know, pick up a book that maybe you don't like as much as you want to, even though you thought you would love it, or pick up a book that takes way longer than it should to get through. But I was just gonna talk a little bit about some books that scare me. I'm not gonna go into too much detail of them, but just gonna show that reading is fucking terrifying at times. First book I have here is actually one that I had never heard of until this year. It's really strange. Okay, listen. I was watching Call Me By Your Name, and I was rewatching it, I think, or I saw a gif of it, something, and they mentioned this certain book, and I was like, oh, what's that? So I checked it up, or looked it up, and I was kind of like wary of it because it is quite older, quite longer. And then I was watching a video on BookTube actually, and the person mentioned this book in there as well, and I was like, I'd never heard of this book before, and now it's like everywhere, so I need to get myself my own copy, because when it comes to classics, I think it's better if I buy them and have them so that I can take my time with them and actually, you know, attempt to get through them. Either way, that book was The Decameron by Giovanni Boccaccio? I think it's Boccaccio? I don't know. Is this Italian, old Italian, gigantic book. In the summer of 1348, the plague ravages Florence and 10 young Florentines take refuge in the countryside, where they entertain themselves with tales of love, death, corruption, blah blah blah. Sounds good, right? Sounds amazing. I am scared as fuck of it. It's so big. Like, it's so, like, thick inside or whatever the fuck. It just scares me, and that's why I had to, like, buy it. This copy was actually so cheap. I got it online. It's amazing. The person whose videos I was watching is called Cinzia Dubois, and really love her videos, by the way. Recommend her. She was talking about how this was a pretty good translation, like this exact version of it. If you're not looking for reading like super old English language, which I thought sounded good, because when it comes to older books, especially translated works, I'm just scared that I won't get what they're trying to say. But yeah, this is a book that I'm terrified of and hopefully will get to before I die. The second one I have here is also a translated work, and it's actually a book that I was like putting off getting because I wanted to get a good translation of it. I didn't want to get one that was too like lyrical, in the sense that I didn't want to get a version of it that was written too much in verse, if that makes sense. And that is the Iliad by Homer, the old ancient Greek poem, I think it is. I was looking inside this copy in the bookstore, and I thought it sounded, you know, it seemed like a version that I would like. The Iliad is a story that I've always wanted to read this. My family is Greek, so I always feel this connection to older Greek texts. That's a hard word. The older Greek works, and I've always wanted to read them. I've always wanted to sort of honor that heritage. Also, like, as a literature nerd, I thought, I can't die before I read this. Hopefully I won't. This book is essentially about the Trojan War, mentions Achilles and whatever, I think most people have heard that story. I'm scared of reading this book because I'm scared that it's gonna disappoint me, because I feel like older books have a tendency, like, the story, but then maybe the actual work won't live up to the expectations. This book doesn't necessarily scare me because of its size, because it is a little longer, I'm not gonna lie. It is like 450 pages or something, but it could have been worse. It could have been so much worse. Next up, we have, while we're talking about Greek stuff, might as well just show the one Greek book I have here, which is not originally in Greek. It's Sherlock Holmes. The Adventures of the Young Sherlock Holmes is like the translation here. This is not an actual Sherlock Holmes book, by Arthur Conan Doyle. It's about Sherlock as a kid or something, solving crimes. I bought this because it's in Greek, and I've been trying in my head to read more Greek books so that I can, get better at just speaking and reading in Greek. And this is a book that scares me because it is in Greek. Like, that's literally it. It's Greek. It's gonna take so long. I got this when I was like 14, man. I've had this for way too long, and I've not gotten to it. I've started it, actually. Ooh, I actually have my little mark left. I got 100 pages into it, actually. That is very well done. Good job, Pasnat. While we're talking about translated works, I'm also going to talk about Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Obviously, originally a Russian book, quite well known. I'm scared because I've only read like one Russian work before, and that was a play. I think it was called Three Sisters. We had to read it for school. I liked it, actually, but like, plays and novels are written differently, but I liked it. The names really confused me because someone could be called like 3 different things, and I wouldn't realize that they were the same person, which is also why generally the Russian classics scare me. We did have a Russian student though in that class, and she told us that it's literally the same thing like in Swedish, like you're called something but you're named something but you're called something else. And it's, my name is Anastasia in Greek, but like I'm Baptist Anastasia Natasa because Natasa comes from Anastasia somehow, and it's like the same thing. So like I should get it because Russia and like Greece, they're not too far apart in that sense. We have a few similar things. But yeah, I'm still pretty scared of it. But like I'm scared of Greek literature as well. So like, this is a bonus book, but it's the Note from Underground by Fyodor Dostoevsky. It's a lot shorter, but I'm scared again for the same reasons. I thought I'd just throw it in here because I found this secondhand really, really recently. The last classic I have, let me get it, is Dracula by Bram Stoker. I'm scared of this book, not necessarily because of its size. It's pretty like reasonably sized. The font is minuscule. I'm scared because my best friend told me it took her 2 years to read this, and I was like, I do need to like get better at letting books take their time, but please, I don't want to read you for 2 years. Did I tell you what this was about? Did I tell you what anything else was about? This is about a vampire, I think. And the other ones I have no idea. And now we're getting into some books that are not classics, starting with The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I am scared of its size. I recently read The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I really, really loved it. So I know the writing style won't be a problem. I feel like I would have been more scared of this book had I not read The Secret History yet. But I know I will like her writing style. I'm just fucking terrified of the story. A lot of people have said that they think the Goldfinch should be like 300 pages smaller. Might take me a while to finish that one. Just so you know, my foot is like entirely asleep now. 3 books left. The next one I have is Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I think this book is about like a couple moving to America. It's just the size sort of scares me of this one, and because I've only ever read like very short things by this author, I've liked them though. They've been like non-fiction, and I've never read her fiction, so I'm just, you know, I'm scared of the unknown. Compared to like all the other gigantic books I've held up this video, this one does not feel that big as it does when I see it on my bookshelf. That's interesting. Next up, I have 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I think this book is about like this group of criminals, sort of. They're supposed to perform a heist, and stuff happen. I assume. I'm scared of this book because I really do hope that I will love it, and you know, what if I don't? It's not necessarily like super small either, but I have a feeling that it will be a quicker read because it is YA and the font is bigger. However, it is like fantasy-ish, I assume, and that might be a little, you know, off-putting at first, possibly. I don't read much fantasy. I want to, but I don't. But, you know, just because I think I'm gonna love it, I've been terrified of reading it, because what if I don't? The next book I have here is actually a sequel to a series. That is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab, the second book in the Shades of Magic trilogy series, I don't know. I'm just scared of this book because I've heard that the ending is kind of heartbreaking, or like people are very upset by the ending. And like I saw V.E. Schwab put on a Twitter that at least, you know, the people who read the book now do have a third book. They don't have to wait. So I'm just like, how does this book end? What's going on? It's about a guy named Kel and a girl named Lila. I was gonna say Leela, then I was like, wait, Delilah, Lila, yeah. And essentially they are like 4 different Londons, and Kel can travel through all these Londons, like back and forth, and you know, things happen. A lot of things happen. And I'm just a little scared of the rest of the series, especially because the books get bigger and bigger every fucking time. So I'm just like... But yeah, those were just some books that I'm scared of, because I think we should talk about more than just books we think we're gonna love, and books that we did love or hate, but like books that we're scared of. Because books are scary. But yeah, that was it for this time. My foot is entirely asleep right now. I'm gonna go. Until next time, if you have any suggestions, send them my way. I got a new subscriber today, so I'm basically famous. Hello. Thank you. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm gonna go. Hope y'all have a good week. See you next time.